Okay, welcome to Daily 3D Revolve. Today I'm going to be doing a Blender tutorial, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to create some basic 3D models and basic shapes. So we're going to go ahead and delete that cube. First thing we're going to create is a chain link. So to do that, we're going to go to Add. We're going to add a torus, come up here to Mesh, and go down to Torus. Now the first thing you're going to notice is as soon as we added that, you're going to get this window, and then for a one time only you're going to get that window. Now you can bring this little window back, but I don't remember the shortcut to do that. There is a shortcut to allow you to bring this back. So we're going to change under major radius, we're going to put 4, and then under minor radius we're going to put 1.25. Hit enter. So now we're going to have this shape here. So now we want to go over to the modeling tab. We want to go hit 7 on the key on your numpads. We want to hit S for scale. I'm going to scale that down a little bit. Now we're going to go ahead and move. So we're going to go to the move tab, grab the red, and just slide this over a little bit. Okay, now we're going to deselect. So when you select something in your modeling tab, you want to always make sure that you're in the wireframe mode, because if you're not, I'll show you what will happen. If you're not in the wireframe mode, or you're just in that mode and you go to select, you're going to think that you have everything selected, but when you spin this around, you're going to realize you don't. So that's the bottom of it, or that's the other side. Nothing is selected. So then if we hit 7, if we try to move this, we go to select this stuff and then we try to grab it and move it, it's gonna move these vertices here, and then the other ones in the back are gonna get all janky. So you don't want to do that. So we'll deselect. You want to come over here to this little globe up here. You want to go to the wireframe one, and then you want to drag a marquee around this stuff. Now when you move, you're moving everything, so you're basically creating a chain link. Okay, so now we have that. So now we're going to go to let's go to this mode. We're going to go back to the layout mode. We'll spin this. Now a couple of things I want to do here to smooth this out is we want to go ahead and go to the wrench tool. We want to add a modifier, and we want to add the subdivision. Let's go ahead and select it, go add modifier. We're going to add a subdivision surface modifier, and then we're going to do 2 on this. All right, and now we're going to right mouse click shade smooth. So this is pretty smooth now. So now to duplicate that, we're going to do a Shift D on the keyboard. Then we're going to do an X. So we're going to constrain it on the X axis. So we'll move it to there. And now we're going to go ahead and rotate this. So we'll come over here. We'll grab the red, and we're going to spin it. And then over here, let's just do 45. So we're going to spin it 45 degrees. So now you have a link that looks like that. Now we want to move this one too. So we're going to click there. We're going to go rotate. We're going to grab the red, and we're going to rotate this one 45 degrees. So type in there 45, hit enter. Uh-oh, something happened there. Let's click, let's do -45, see if that changes. Okay, now we got it right, -45. Okay, so now you have a chain link there that we're going to continue to replicate over. So we're going to go drag a marquee around this stuff. Going to go to move, and we're going to go Shift D, constrain it on the X, so hit X while we're moving. Now you've got this. So this is the start of your chain link. Okay, so that's going to be one handy object that you can create easily in Blender. So we're going to go ahead and do select this. Let's deselect any of the stuff we don't want to move. Or actually, I did that wrong. Let's just select these. To get multiples, just hold down Shift key, like anything in Blender, and then I want to drag it over. So let's spin this Let's grab the green and just slide it over. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to create another object. We'll go ahead and we're going to go to add here in our layout. We'll go to mesh. We're going to add a cylinder. Then we're going to hit S, scale this up. Okay, now we're going to hit scale on the Z-axis. I'm just going to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, now we're going to go to the modeling tab. Let's spin this. Okay, now these are our selection modes in modeling. You have basically vertex or vertices, edge select, face select. We want to go to face select, and we want to click on there, hit delete. And then when you delete a face, you want to make sure you come down to faces. If you delete edge, you want to make sure you're deleting edges. And if you're deleting vertexes or vertices, you want to make sure that you're deleting vertices or vertexes. So now we have this shape here. So this is going to be basically just a drinking glass. So we want to go ahead and add some thickness to this. So we're going to go ahead and go, let's go back to layout mode. We're going to select, go to modeling. Then we're going to come down here to the wrench, go to add modifier. Then we're going to add a solidify. And then we're going to come up here under thickness. We're just going to click until we have a pretty thick mug. I think 0.1 would be good. So we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it like this. So this is going to be our mug here. And then we'll go back to layout. So now if we wanted to make this less blocky, we could come down here to the wrench, go to add modifier, add a subdivision surface modifier. Then we're going to get this stuff. So don't worry, your thing is not defective. It does this. So we'll add 2 there. Okay, now what you're going to have to do is under your modeling, you'll have to go back to modeling. You're going to have to come down here and add what's called a loop cut. So we're going to add several. So we'll click and drag up to the top. Now keep in mind, the closer you get to the top, the sharper the edge is going to be. So you want to come just a little ways away. Then we're going to click and drag, and we want to come all the way down to the bottom here. And then we'd want to spin, and we want to do this on the inside as well. So click there. Go down to the bottom there. Let's spin that. I actually think that didn't get on the bottom there, but anyhow, this is what you need to do to smooth that out. Add some division, add some loop cuts, and then we'll go ahead and go back to the layout mode. And then to smooth that out, just right mouse click, shade smooth. So now you have this, just a basic cup like this. All right, so now we're going to duplicate this. So we'll do Shift D, and then we'll just drag one over here. And then we'll go to modeling. All right, now we're going to pan over. Use that hand tool to pan over. So now if you wanted to drag out a handle for this, you could do that. You just want to make sure that you're on the right. You want to get these 2 right here, but you want to go back up here to face select. And then you want to grab these 2, this face and this face. And then you want to spin it around. Do extrude, and then we're going to pull this out like this. And now what we want to do is with this face selected, spin, and this face selected, we want to do I on the keyboard to inset. Okay, now we basically have inserted 2 little openings there. They're both selected, and with both selected, we want to come up to edge, and we want to say bridge edge loops, bridge edge loops. So what that's going to do is that's going to put basically a circle in the mesh. So now we have a coffee cup here. Now we can go back to our layout mode and see that we created a coffee cup here. Usually you want to come down a little bit when we do those, so the handle's not so close to the top. But we would do the same thing here under modeling. We would go ahead and add loop cuts to this. So we'd come down to the loop cut, and then we would click in here and add loop cuts. So we'd click, the more you pull over there, the straighter it's going to get. So if you don't want it to get too straight, We could just go maybe right to there if you just wanted a little bit of a curved shape. Same there. Closer we get to there, the more of a rectangle this shape's going to be. So what I meant by, see how there's a square here and a square here, but there isn't any up there. So this is we did this too close to the top there. So let's go ahead and do a couple of undos. So let's show you how to fix that. Okay, so what we would do to fix that is go ahead and deselect off of these. We would add a loop cut in here. So go grab your loop cut, click and drag. So you'd put a loop cut about the same distance from here to here as it is from here to here. Now we would go get our face select, and then we would come in here and select these. Let's get out of loop cut. Go to the face select. We would select these two, do extrude, pull these out. Go ahead and spin that. And then with this face selected, go ahead and hold down Shift key, select that. Do I for inset. Oh, something's not right. Let's select that face. And hold down Shift key, get that face. And do I for inset. Okay, there we go. Come in about to there. Now come over here to edge and bridge edge loops. Okay, now we have the handle is lower here because we added the loop cut. So now let's go ahead and add some more loop cuts just in here, so these things are a little more rectangular. Alright, so there's your handle. Now we'll go back to the layout. Now we have these objects, chain link, regular cup, and then a coffee cup. Of course, you're going to have your handle in here. We'd have to fix that at a later point, but we could do that, definitely do that. So that's how you would do a coffee cup. That's how you do a basic glass. This is how you do a chain link. I'm going to go ahead and select everything so we could make this stuff smaller. Let's go ahead and shift on everything. Do a scale, hit S. Scale this down a little bit, and just move everything over. So there's how you would draw those shapes. Now if you wanted to draw something a little different, like a bowl, you would go to mesh, add a UV sphere. Then over here we're going to crank up from 32 to 64 on the segments. Okay, now we're going to scale this, so hit S. Now we'll go ahead and go to modeling. We're going to hit 7 on the keypad, or actually 3 on the keypad. Then we're going to go ahead and move this down. Let's move it down to here. Let's kind of pull this up and then move it down even farther. Okay, now to make sure that we get half the side that we need, we're going to switch over to the wireframe mode. So we're going to go ahead and select these here, hit delete vertices. Okay, now we have a bowl. So remember, let's go pan up with this. Let's go ahead and go to layout. And remember, when you add your bowl, we got to move that up. It's pretty far down there. Let's move it up. Remember, when you cut anything in half and you want to make it thicker, you want to add a modifier. You add your solidify modifier, and then you increase the thickness. So we'll go to 01, and now that's our bowl. And then to make it smoother, we want to either do a shade smooth, or we want to come over here and add a modifier, add a subdivision surface modifier, and then increase the amount from 1 to 2. Now we'll go ahead and move this. Let's grab the red. All right, so here's our, let's go to 3. Here's our shapes. Let's line them all up. Let's put our glass there. Make sure it's down at the bottom there. Let's get these chain link. Move those to the bottom. Now let's move this bowl up too. Let's move it over. Move it up to the top here. All right, now let's just go ahead and spin that. Okay, so these are our objects that we created. Just basically using the trimming or cutting and making sure everything is in the wireframe mode to cut both sides. Adding our solidify, or doing this subdivision surface modifier. Adding our solidify modifier and cranking up the thickness. Here we inserted a torus. We changed the elements of the torus, and then we basically selected half of the torus, so we moved it, and then we did a Shift D to duplicate, and then we moved that. We rotated it 45 degrees. Then we created a chain link, and with the cup, we inserted a cylinder. We scaled it. Then we basically deleted the top face, and then we did a solidify modifier and increased the thickness. We did the same here. The only difference is we selected 2 slivers or two faces, and we extruded those outward. And then we did an inset, and then we selected the right and left side of the inset, and then we created a bridge edge loop. So we got our handle there. So these are 3 common objects that you might be able to learn from. So from this one here, you could create a lot more things. And then also knowing how to do this bridge edge loops. It's a great feature to have. You could add, let's go ahead and add a cylinder. Nice thing about it is, let's go ahead and scale this, or scale it up, and then we'll scale it on the Z to flatten it. So instead of using your boolean tool, you can go modify. Let's change this back to this. Let's spin this. So basically, you can go to your face select. What you could do here is select that. Spin it around to the bottom. Hold down Shift key. Select that one. Hit I for inset. Inset that, and then you could go up to edge and say bridge edge loops. So basically now you just created this, but you didn't create a boolean, which is basically you would have to put a cylinder here, and then you would have to remove it. Yeah, it's just kind of a pain, but I like doing it this way better. And then the nice thing about this is you could go ahead and select those 2, and then you could swing it down here like this. Hold down the Shift key, select these 2, and then you come up here and do the same thing under edge, bridge edge loops. It's going to combine them, and then you could do the same thing here. So if you're trying to create a logo where you had to bring this stuff together, you could go ahead and select both of those, and then come over here, edge, bridge loops. So now you have this shape here that was really easy to do, and now you still have the geometry here in the center that you could select and move up. So now here's a third object that you could create just using the bridge edge loops. So we'll go back to layout, and then here we'll right mouse click, shade smooth, and then maybe we can add another subdivision surface modifier to this. You're going to get that on there. That's normal. Just go ahead and go to. Now you just have to add your bridge loops to this. Go back to modeling. Go to your add loops, and you just have to add these loops in here, like close to here though. You have to click on them that are close to here, so yeah. So just add your loop cuts. And then now you have another object here. Okay, I think that's going to end the tutorial. We basically talked about creating different objects, easy to create objects like a bowl, a chain link, coffee cup, a mug, or just a plus sign or a basic logo. Let's go back to layout, just click off of that, and then I'm not really going to get into adding colors to this stuff. This is just something, let's go ahead and go to 1. We'll just move this over. Just wanted to do a basic scene like this. And so hit G to grab, we'll move that over. Move the bowl over. And move this cup over a little bit. You can spin that around a little bit. Okay, that's going to end today's tutorial. Hopefully you enjoyed watching and you got some useful tips out of this video. Thanks again for watching.